I want to go to John Echols from Oklahoma, former Majority Floor Leader of the Oklahoma House. Thank you so much for joining us. And I'm going to kick it over to Will, because, Will, we've been working on these things here at the ACLJ with some amazing people like John throughout the years.
That's right. If you've watched this broadcast for many years, you have heard or seen John before on the show, but he's in our studio in D.C. today, and we thought what a great time to have him on to talk about some of the things he has done that we have worked with him on, as well as some things he has coming up. But I wanted to kind of bring this up because it's this time of the year. We talk a lot about the work of the ACLJ here at the end of the year and a lot of the legal battles we have. But one of the aspects of what we do here at the ACLJ that we don't talk about that often is how we work with legislatures in various states, including Oklahoma, to as bills are being created. Is this the legal sound way to do it? Is this something that we could get some advice on? And you are one of those individuals we've worked with many times, or even when you see a challenge to a piece of legislation, how we can help you navigate through that. So I kind of wanted to kick it over to you about how you've seen the work of the ACLJ with you as a member of a state legislature, and how we can actually help various states get involved and work for the conservative values we hold dear.
Absolutely. Well, first, I got to say, it's such an honor to be back on the show. Somebody grew up looking up to what the ACLJ does. So honored to get to see my good friend Ben Sisney, my former law partner, here in the D.C. office. I served in the Oklahoma legislature for 12 years, 8 years as majority floor leader, longer than anyone in state history. And what I can tell the listeners is no one does more to protect religious liberties on the state level, not just on the national level, but on the state level, than the ACLJ. I worked with them on everything from the Choosing Childbirth Act, where you helped craft legislation that we were able to put into place that supports women that choose childbirth. We worked with religious issues, allowing time off from school for religious instruction that was constitutionally sound, to even what I saw right before, you're the tip of the spear in the fight of 836, where the liberals in the state of Oklahoma are trying to take over this state, right down to the Castro case in the state of Oklahoma. You ended up taking the fight to kick Trump off the state ballot all the way to the Colorado Supreme Court, but that was filed in Oklahoma. And I joined with the ACLJ to support the Oklahoma Republican Party to say, no, we get to pick who gets to be on our ballots. It's just critically important. And as somebody who has lived it, what the ACLJ does, Oklahoma is just one story, but we are permeated over my 12 years in office with all of the stuff you've done for our citizens for religious liberty.
And when you also think about, we can mention as well, you are now seeking office to be the Attorney General of the state of Oklahoma. We work with many conservative attorneys general from various states. People who watch this show have seen our good friend J.B. McCuskey from West Virginia, as he is the Attorney General there. That not only can we help legislatures when they are trying to put forward these bills and laws that can help protect religious liberty, promote conservative ideals, but we also know what happens after the fact many times. The legislature can get it through, but then we see the liberal groups or the other party file in court. And as the state's top law enforcement officer, you will be at the tip of the spear and when you are fighting back against these legal attacks, this lawfare. And many times the ACLJ is right there helping these states' attorneys general navigate this, or fighting with, filing briefs on behalf of. There is a litany of things we can do, and it's not just going to affect the people of that state. Because many times, most of the time, these are federal lawsuits that they bring against a state for their legislation. And then that will affect everyone in this country. So the importance of that job as an attorney general or a member of a state legislature can have national ramifications. And the ACLJ is right there to fight alongside that as well.
Absolutely. You've always been there, and I've always been so honored to be there to fight alongside you. I mean, I think of everything from the brief that we filed together, the amicus brief in favor of the St. Isidore case and the United States Supreme Court that I was able to sign on as local counsel. I think of the Castro case that we were able to work together, the FEMA case in Carter County, Oklahoma. I think it's so important for the listeners to understand all the things the ACLJ does inside these local state levels. And then as I run for the Attorney General for the state of Oklahoma, one of the things I talk about all the time is if you want to know what type of lawyer I'm going to be, I'm going to look at the ACLJ. Look, that's the people that are fighting for religious liberty. That's the people that I have teamed up with and been proud to stand side by side in this fight for religious freedom, where you don't just do it on the national level. You do it because these are federal cases, and we look at, for example, attorneys general. Let's take the St. Isidore case, for example, an amicus brief that we filed in favor of school choice and religious freedom there before the United States Supreme Court. Yes, that was an Oklahoma case, but that matters for the entire state of the entire country. And when you pick those right attorneys general, one of the things I tell people to ask is, what type of attorney are you? I mean, if you're somebody that goes around saying, well, I'm going to take politics out of, for example, out of the Attorney General's office. Well, hey, we have 5-4 Supreme Court decisions all the time. Are you a Justice Scalia, Justice Thomas? Are you a Justice Jackson? Well, we know with the ACLJ, you're getting true conservatism, true protection of religious liberties, and people who have done it, who have done the work. And as I take that message to the citizens of the state of Oklahoma, it's been resounding success. That's what they're looking for. They're looking for some, like your friend, the Attorney General of West Virginia, that has a long-standing history of making a difference inside this country, but doing it from the Attorney General's position.
Absolutely, John. We'll be watching your campaign, certainly with great interest in following what's going on there, because I think what's important with the ACLJ, when you support the work of the ACLJ, those of you watching right now, you understand there are people like John, there's JB, there's these other people throughout the country. And like you said, a lot of these happen on local individual levels. And of course, we take these cases all the time that start on the local individual level. And sometimes they stay there, but often, no. Of course, we're taking them because they have consequences federally. They have consequences throughout the country, sometimes throughout the world. And of course, we have our teams at the ACLJ. We have our teams at the European Center. We have the ACLJ Jerusalem. We have all over the world people being represented because we know the impact